everyone. Thanks for joining me on African Brands. I'm Ore Ajewale. On today's episode, we've got a brand leaders chat with the reputable CEO of Ixpn, who's also the president of Nira. He shares with us about all the new international brands making a play for the Nigerian telecoms industry, as well as a tip on managing a busy life. Here's our brand leaders chat with Mr. Mohammed Rudman.
The Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria commenced operation in 2006. It's an organization that Nigerian Communications Commission provided the seed funding for. It's supposed to be a kind of a public-private partnership where the seed funding was provided by NCC, but it's not an NCC owned organization, but rather owned by all the various internet service providers, telecommunication companies, higher educational institutions, content providers that are part of the network. Basically, Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria is an infrastructure that interconnects all kinds of networks together for the exchange of traffic locally within Nigeria. So, Internet is what? Is internetworks. Different networks come together to physically interconnect. That physical point of presence, physical point is called Internet Exchange Point. So if you're browsing from one network to another, the intermediary network is called Internet Exchange Point. So for Nigeria's networks, all of them that are interconnected is called Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria. To be honest with you, we are not that slow. If you look at the global internet statistics, Nigeria is ranking at the number 7th in the world when it comes to internet users. Yes, we are the number 7th. Out of the population of 200 million people, over 100 million people are online. Yes, but when you talk about significant impact, when you can translate this into an economic impact, no, because Nigerians are mostly, Nigeria as a country is a net importer of content. We do more of download than offload. So the real benefit of the browsing that we are doing, we are not benefiting from it. Okay, for us to really benefit from it, one, the content, the information we are browsing should be local and should be hosted within servers in Nigeria, so that we tap from the benefit of that, because we have data centers in Nigeria that are supposed to be hosting that information. As it is, we export the information and we import it back. So the real economic value is not really there. So for us to have that economic value, we need to localize the traffic and ensure that all our information, especially people that are registering .ng websites, should host their content locally within local servers, so that we can take from the benefit, because content is the economic engine of the internet. It was quite challenging because there were no content network providers in Nigeria. If you look at it at that time, all the major network service providers are called eyeball networks. That is networks that people have eyes trying to browse. But the information they are browsing is not within Nigeria. So we have the likes of the MTN, the E.Terra, the Airtel, and all the rest of the big service providers. All of them are eyeball networks. Even though they got interconnected in Nigeria initially, there was no traffic that was being exchanged locally in the country. And then with coming of some of the big companies, content providers such as Google, connecting to the internet exchange point, all of a sudden now the traffic starts to build up. So when we started operations, almost 0.01% of traffic is being exchanged locally. And over the years, we've grown it right now to some of the service providers are exchanging as high as 50 to 60% of their traffic locally. So before now, all the traffic goes, internet traffic goes outside. Now, part of the internet traffic, 50% goes international and 50% goes local. Nira is a separate entity. As I told you, is the Nigeria Internet Registration Association. Nira manages the .ngccTLD on behalf of various stakeholders in Nigeria. So the .ng domain name registration has grown over the years. We have not reached the 2, 3, 4, 5 million domains registered by now. Now we are at less than 200,000 compared to the 100 million people that are online. So it's very minimal. So we need to make an impact. In terms of all the domains registered in under the .ng, almost 80%, 90% of those domains are actually hosted outside the country. The information is not within Nigeria. Those people that register it, yes. So they host it outside Nigeria. And therefore, before now, people tend to register the .com and the .net, and that is capital flight money going out of the economy. They now register locally, the money stays in the local economy. So there is high need for us to start localizing that so that the whole value chain around the .ng is local and will have multiplier effect, on the lives of Nigerians, because it will do an economic empowerment. The next step right now, honestly, for Nira, by next year, the idea is we want to do what is called domain bundling. We want to bundle not only the domain service, we want to make sure that people that are buying the domain will get bundled with services with web designing, will get bundled services with hosting. Because a lot of people are complaining why they are not hosting in Nigeria is because of the high cost of hosting in Nigeria. Why is there high cost? Because of the cost of electricity. The data centers in Nigeria are running, 100%, most of them on generators. And therefore their operational costs are high, and they pass that operational cost to the end user. But with what we are trying to do with economy of scale, we are trying to see that the cost drops for average individuals that are trying to host their content. So that's what we are looking at doing next year, and especially to focus on small, medium enterprises, to also all these innovative hubs that are springing up across Nigeria. So young guys that are innovative, and we need to showcase what we are doing, and the only way to showcase that in Nigeria now or globally now is through the internet, and we give them access to websites and hosting at a very cheap cost initially, so that to encourage them and to give them global visibility.
Over the years, lots of domain names have entered the internet domain space, but if it's in Nigeria, it's got to be .ng. .ng is the most widely accepted and trusted country code top-level domain CCTLD in the world. .ng is the official country code for Nigeria. You can register your name directly under .ng or choose from one of its popular second-level domain extensions, such as .com.ng for commercial companies, .org.ng for not-for-profit organizations, .edu.ng for degree or diploma awarding educational institutions, .mobi.ng for mobile content and service providers, .sca.ng for non-degree and diploma awarding schools, .name.ng for personal websites and emails, .i.ng for interesting action names like trading and shopping, .net.ng for internet service providers, .gov.ng for federal and state ministries, departments and agencies, as well as local governments, .mil.ng for the military. Now, if it's a web or email address ending in .ng, then you know it's trusted, locally relevant, globally accepted, and proudly Nigerian. Experience shows that any domain name ending with .ng ranks among the highest and most relevant on popular internet search engines when searching for products, services, and information relating to Nigeria or the world at large. Businesses with .ng are more relevant and appealing to not only Nigerians but millions of people all around the world. Getting a .ng domain name is easy, fast, and affordable. So if you want to register your domain name, you can choose from any of our over 50 accredited registrars across Nigeria, Africa, and the world. .ng is undoubtedly a great online identity for locally relevant products, services, and innovations. How to register a .ng domain name? Step 1. Think of a name you want to register on .ng for your business, website, or email address. Step 2. Check the availability of the name you want to register on .ng from the Nira UIS website, uis.nic.net.ng. Step 3. Visit the Nira website, www.nira.org.ng. Step 4. From Nira's website, www.nira.org.ng. Click on the icon named Registrars and select your preferred registrar. Step 5. Clicking on your preferred registrar will redirect you to that registrar's website where you can use this platform to register your domain name. Go ahead and register your own .ng domain name and connect to the world. .ng, your Nigerian identity online.
Today, we're bringing you a fun and jovial conversation from the CEO of E.Streams, Mr. Muyiwa Ogunboye, at E.Streams Networks, who give African brands such as this one a foot to stand on.
So when we started Ixpn, there was two things that we noticed. One was pricing. Companies then were pricing in dollars. So it was very expensive. Then another thing we noticed was deployment. Deployment takes like 2 weeks. And organizations want the service. So what we did was to capitalize on those lapses. That, okay, if we use this as our own competitive advantage, we could have a good mileage. So in starting out, we were able to use low-cost entry products to give a good service. Instead of using so much money in buying so much equipment and to deliver the same service. So we need to have a strategy of being adapting to customer needs all the time. So part of our focus was we need to be flexible to adapt to any customer needs at any point in time. Then, like I mentioned to you, installation takes like 2 weeks to those days. So when we came on board, the installation will take 3 days. So it was a new thing that most organizations have never heard, all our customers have never heard. 3 days, that can you install in 3 days? So we shortened all those processes, and that gave us a good mileage into the industry. And before we knew what was happening, phones were ringing. GT Bank came on board, Sterling Bank came on board, Bank PHB then came on board. You know, it just started coming and coming and coming and coming. And then the focus was fine. So we're able to capture a sizable amount in the industry. So over the years, we've evolved from a mono-product, which was just satellite, to a multi-product. Today now, we have about 14 products that we sell in the market using various technologies. So we used to be just one product and one technology. Now we have 14 products with about 5 different technologies. So the satellite is still there. Now we also have LTE. So we're 4G LTE, we provide 4G LTE service as well in the whole of Lagos State. We also provide fiber. So we have partnerships with other companies to provide this fiber technology. Then we also invested in setting up our own point of presence. So we have points of presence in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Onitsha, Kaduna, Kano, Asaba. We have various like that. So we did this over the years because technology changed and because customer preference changed. So we also have radio providing that services. And very soon, we're going to launch our KA product. It's already done. Everything is already done. So we hope to launch it by end of this month. It's a satellite product as well, but the technology is applied, but it has its own target market. It's KA. We also have hosting services. So in our data center, over the years, we've made it to be more business friendly. We put in the necessary resources that will make it more attractive for people to come and co-locate. So we also have that running as well. So we have 5 technologies that we've been able to develop over the years. But these 5 technologies have given back to about 14 products in the market. So the 14 products is already done, is already in the market, but we've not made it known to the public. So part of our intention is we're going to have some press conference to explain to the public about all our products, to explain to the market the kind of products we have for different segments of market. So all this is coming up. So we have programs wind up from July all the way to the end of the year. So we're not sleeping. We're not sleeping. We know the competition is there, challenges are there, but due to the law we have for the industry, we will continue to be relevant. My own take in terms of the government helping the industry to blow up is the government needs to help us in setting up or giving an approval telecom infrastructure bank. So we've been advocating that, look, can we also have something? Government can have a stake in it, 50%, 60%, I don't mind. But the bottom line is, let this bank be specifically for telecom operators. There will be criteria to access the fund, there will be conditions to access the fund, but let us know that that's what this bank does for us. With that, I want to believe a lot of people will have access to capital, because capital has been a major issue for us. And this business, there is no end to investment. Unfortunately, there is no end to investment. We will continue to invest till this world comes to an end, because you want more service. So we have to continue to invest.
On today's Spotlight, we took a trip down to the E.Terra Technologies data management site right here in Lagos and got a grand tour of how exactly e-waste is treated and disposed of. This was fun and fascinating to see, and we really enjoyed our time out with the staff and the members of the team at E.Terra. We also managed to snag in a very quick chat with the CEO, Mr. Ifeanyi Chonogo.
Just have to undergo the process of company recovery, where the plastic is being removed, the iron is being removed, all those companies are being removed together. Those companies goes back as a raw material. There's some off-taker, there's some vendors they take those off from us and they further use it as a raw material. But before then, we have to know what to use it for. Do you satisfy to use this? Do you have the capacity to use this so that you don't further take what is good and dispose the other one to the environment? Is very important.
Because I understand that one of the major things that you believe in and that you preach here at E.Terra is
protect the environment.
That's
yeah, and which environment we are living inside the environment, protect both humans and the environment as well.
Oh, that's good.
So we're now moving to the main recycling plants. We follow back. So these are information units, of course, as I said, somebody on the channel will look at it, you can put back to you, if you down to this unit. And this one of the, the IT engineer, which they are being trained to do that. So this year, this is being done. And once you have to certify license from Blanco, what that one does is to erase the information from the hard drive. See something, yes. This is something with the laptop. There's some laptop that have an internal storage that contains some information. What we do as a company, we have to make sure we sanitize that system to make sure that none of the client system information is being found there. We erase it completely. We understand before the system can be republished. Thank you so much for taking us on the show.
Hello. Sir. Thank you for sitting down with us.
Yes.
How's your day going?
So far, so good.
Right. So we just took a tour around the facility, and honestly, I have never thought about how these things get disposed. So it was really, really, let me use the word Nigerian, insightful to see the step-by-step process and learn a little bit more. But tell us a little bit about the plant. How long has the plant been in existence, and when did you start full operation?
We managed to actually develop the infrastructure you just saw to house the various electronic waste treatment process lines. This was in 2014. We actually finished construction in the end of 2015. Okay, but primary to that facility, the off-site data destruction. I assume you've been with Patrick, so you know what that means. So off-site data destruction machine was actually purchased at the beginning of 2015. So we started the awareness creation to all of our B2B clients of what data destruction is, which the data protection industry is supposed to defend us against and enforce for the data destruction industry to grow as part of the electronic waste recycling or electronic waste management industry.
Globalization and Branding Summit is here once again for the second time in Nigeria. The event will play host to over 1,000 attendees from different industries, both locally and globally. We are inviting you as a Nigerian business to get involved and leverage the immense opportunities available to and through our rapidly developing MSME sector. There will be lots of opportunities for SMEs to meet with brand influencers and entrepreneurs to share experiences needed to survive in this dynamic, ever-evolving market. The federal government's MSME clinics will be available to deliver on-the-spot services in areas of company registration, tax, and more. Event attendance is completely free. The venue is Edmark Depodia Mikeja, Lagos on the 9th of August 2019. There are also opportunities to showcase and exhibit your brand. Visit www.vivacitypr.com to register. Places are going fast. Globalization and Branding Summit 2019. Think global, act local.
Thanks for joining us today. We look forward to bringing you more African brand stories. Same time next week. I'm Ore Ajewale. Thank you so much for watching.